Oh boy, it seems finally a new waifu has entered the scene, and I am all for it. Welcome back to the VikingGnomeAnime, the anime channel with one of the most based, wholesome, and downright legendary takes on the internet. Well, at least most of the time, if you know what I'm saying. In today's video, we are going over episode 8 of Am I Actually the Strongest, where, finally, after, 3-4 episodes, the plot starts moving again. Well, very slowly. But movement is movement. So finally, after having to wait many episodes, we are finally going to the capital, and initially, I prophesized, or I theorized that, okay, since Haruto didn't want to go to school or the capital, and since this is more of a comedy slice of life, I expected the, let's say, whole school arc to maybe just be a parody where he goes there for like 2 days, gets kicked out, and goes back home to do more slice of life stuff. But actually, it seems that plot things are gonna happen in the capital, and surprisingly, the cult is actually real, and I assume Haruto will have to deal with it very easily, but deal with it nonetheless in the next 2-3 episodes of the anime, perhaps finishing off the cult and that whole plot line at the end of season 1. But of course, immediately when we found out that the cult and all that stuff is actually real, the whole fantasy that Charlotte came up with last episode, that instantly gave me the vibes of, okay, are we just being Eminence in Shadow now? Are we just doing this? And okay, I guess we are. So this is, let's say, Eminence in Shadow at home, is what this anime is going to be, it looks like. Which, you know what? I'm totally fine with that. I mean, Eminence in Shadow has a lot of humor and comedy as well, but this is, let's say, definitely the slice of life version of Eminence in Shadow. And if it goes that route, I am more than happy to gobble all of that up because I love Eminence in Shadow to death. So we do find out who exactly got him this recommendation letter to go to the school. It was sent by the king, technically, but apparently it was not only the princess, but also the prince that wanted and fought for his recommendation letter. It seems that the prince has actually grown as a person, and has actually become a somewhat respectable man with a decent character, which is surprising, because usually these sort of characters never grow up. These sort of, let's say, bratty antagonists never improve, and are constantly just having to be shown their place, so to speak. But actually learning from his defeat all those years ago, and actually honing his craft and his skill in hopes of being as strong as Haruto was at that time, and again now, wanting to get him the recommendation letter so that he can maybe reduel him, or show him how strong he is now, and also try to learn from him, to learn why he is so strong and what he can do to become as strong as well. So that was very interesting, and I'm definitely liking his character way more now. And again, just to emphasize this, that he actually made a change in his life due to something that happened in his life, like a defeat or a downfall that he was not used to, is very rare in this sort of antagonist, bratty character that we see in many similar anime. But not only that, the sister of the princess also apparently really wanted a recommendation letter, and technically I guess you can say that she wanted it because she thinks that Haruto can deal with this cult in some way and solve their problems. But we also find out that, okay, I guess she has a brother complex, or an unknowing brother complex, as she has feelings for him, because of course she does. Well, that romance is going to be utterly hilarious, I'm sure, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that turns out. But yes, after this whole exposition about the cult and all of that, then we get the queen coming in, and well, she has gotten even more psychotic and evil since last time. Being forced to have a collar on her at all times might do that to you. So yeah, she basically chokes the princess and almost kills her, I guess, but thankfully not. And just does some very, let's say, bipolar attitude towards both the prince and the princess, getting the prince to, or let's say, demanding, or asking, but demanding that the prince get information about the Black Knight from Haruto, since he's from the same region, etc. And then the prince being a bit dismayed that, okay, maybe I have gotten Haruto involved in something really bad here, oopsie. But again, showing that he actually seems to sort of care for Haruto now in a way, or respect him at least, and that he might not be drawn into something nefarious and bad at the behest of his mother, he is already sort of remorseful for. So again, showing good character growth and growth as a human in general as he was growing up to be a young man. This cult, though, apparently, we get told, that, very much like the mentioned Shadow, it's a shadowy sort of cult that spurred from the official religion in the kingdom, and they have gained influence. Now they're in, the schools and everywhere really in society, and they are thinking of overthrowing the monarchy and stuff like this. And then there's some question of funding sources, and maybe the queen is funding them. Why would she be funding them if they want to overthrow the monarchy that she is the queen of? Is it due to her spite of the king or some other reason? I guess we will find out as the plot develops, but I think that's interesting. Some actual plot. I can dig that. Outside of that, we do actually see that Haruto is finally going to the capital, uses his teleport door, magic, whatever. He comes across this white-haired woman, and their carriage being attacked by an evil bison, which I guess is an animal in this world. And of course, he head kicks it or something, and it passes out. And of course, we get to see the white-haired waifu again later in the episode. But clearly, this waifu girl is going to be relevant to the plot moving forward. And she is a very nice-looking waifu, so I am all for it. Especially as we see the episode preview for the next episode. Oh boy, this waifu is gonna get spicy real quick. Oh golly. Outside of all these, let's say, small plot developments, I mean, to be honest here, we didn't even get to the entrance ceremony this episode. Like, yeah, sure, the plot developed, and we got some more backstory, and we got some more stuff happening, but he still, barely transpired a day in the world in one episode. Again, the entrance ceremony is next episode. This show, I'm not sure whether to be impressed or mortified at how slow and inconsequential each episode is in terms of development. But I mean, hey, it's comfy, and I enjoy it, especially Charlotte. She is absolutely great every episode. I love her to death, really. We do get a very nice slice of life part of the episode as well, when Haruto and Charlotte go on a date, per se. Charlotte calls it a date, and Haruto is over the moon that he finally gets his date, even though it is technically with his sister. But still, a date is a date, right? Sure. And all of that is absolutely cuteness overload, so I'm all for it. Thumbs up for that one. That's basically how the episode ends, and of course then we see the preview, and I assume that next episode things will start getting, let's say, more intense, or at least the plot, hopefully, will develop in a more proper fashion than the last 4 episodes. We do still have 9, 10, 11, 12, so 4 episodes left of the season, as I assume, if I'm not wrong, that there is 12 episodes in the season 1 here. So we have a good amount of portion left of season 1 to get this cult arc finished, or at least very developed. And I do love this exact part of every isekai. My favorite portion of any isekai is basically when an overpowered protagonist goes in to, let's say, the school arc or whatever else, and just shows how absolutely insanely overpowered he is. Even though Haruto doesn't really do that because he uses his alter ego, Black Knight hero character, to show his power, I feel like we will still be forced to seeing Haruto use some of his powers at some point during the season here in the capital, which I will be very excited to see, hopefully, anyway. With all that being said, what did you think of episode 8? Did you like it, hate it, whatever else? Comment those thoughts below. And do please subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good business to support this new channel. I deeply appreciate that. With all this being said, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next video. So bye-bye, and watch anime.